The first thing we need to think about is that of a situational analysis. And what this essentially refers to is the review of activities, both competitors as well as various things that are happening in the marketplace like trends, as a way to truly define what exactly your digital communication approach is going to be. There are a number of different benefits of actually utilizing a situational analysis. So the first one is to be able to define your target market and define your target audience in a robust way. Ultimately, what you're looking for is to try and identify new targets and new audiences that are not currently targeted by competitors. You'll be able to then understand your competitors' weaknesses and strengths. This helps you to define the digital marketing approach that you then take to find a gap in the marketplace to be able to penetrate in a better way and be more successful than your competitors. And finally, it lets you identify opportunities and threats to your offering. Being able to identify these will be critical for you to be able to overcome some of the hurdles and challenges that you may find in your way. So let's think about a competitor analysis. There are in essence 7 key stages that you need to be thinking about. The first thing to do is to identify your current competitors. Now, the issue that you have is on the face of it, it may seem pretty reasonable to understand who your competitors are. In reality, in today's environment, it's very difficult. For example, who was to ever think that Vodafone was going to become one of the biggest financial services institutions in Kenya with M-Pesa, for example? So it's very difficult to identify who your current and future competitors could look like. There are a number of different techniques that you can use to do this. The first one is by being able to determine who your primary set competitors are. The next thing is to look at who could possibly be your secondary set or even competitor substitutes. What I mean by that is if it's not the product that you are currently offering, what other products could it be? A simplest example would be if a customer is not traveling by train, they may take a plane or car. So those individuals or those companies operating in that environment actually become your competitors as well. And then the third layer to think about is who else could potentially move into your space given their core capabilities that they have around. So for example, organizations may be able to leverage data to be able to start a bank, which is what a number of institutions are thinking about doing. Now, the second thing is around identifying future competitors, which in essence is that third layer. Who are the key people that could be competing with you in the next 5 to 10 years? Once you've got an understanding of who your current and future competitors could be, you want to start mapping out what exactly are their market share in that environment. This will give you a good understanding of exactly who are the leaders in that environment, which can then help you to identify who are the organizations you need to worry about, who are the organizations you may not need to worry about, but also where can you gain valuable insights about what they're doing versus what you're currently doing. It could give you some great benchmarks to work to against as well from a digital perspective. You may also want to identify your competitors' strengths and weaknesses. This will help you to determine where you are better than others and perhaps where you have to position your own strategy. Now, to give you an example, if you look at the insurance space, you have some traditional players, think people like Direct Line Group or Aviva, versus new age players, say Hastings Direct in the UK. Now, one of Hastings' major advantages is the fact that they haven't built up heavy infrastructure, offices, as well as people, and they have a much more digitally inclined approach. So in essence, their cost base is much less than that of Aviva or Direct Line Group. Now, one of the big advantages of that is it enables them to be able to offer cheaper pricing. So from a Direct Line or Aviva perspective, understanding that dynamic enables them to move in a more digitally agile way, which then enables them to shed cost from their business, letting them offer similar pricing to their customers, enabling them to retain their customers as well as acquire new ones because they've got greater brand equity. Also thinking about the future opportunities and threats is a great way to be thinking about how to avoid some of the pitfalls that organizations may fall into. Take the insurance example again, where you've got price comparison websites. Now, over the last 5 to 10 years, they've pretty much democratized the insurance sector. Now, for example, thinking about a world of comparison websites, 2.0 or 3.0, what does that potentially look like? And is there a threat for the key insurance companies to think about when thinking about their strategies? Now, when you have that, you can start thinking about the offerings of your current competitors and what those strategies could be for the future. If you've understood the holistic 7 points around your competitors, you'll be very well placed to be able to identify, capitalize on opportunities, as well as mitigate the threats that these competitors could do for you at the moment and in the future. Now, one of the ways to think about how you glean this information from competitors as well as consumers is through digital insights.